And you could either listen to the teacher talk about something or watch a video. What would you want to do?
Watch a video, because she usually puts on Magic Treehouse videos, and I like those videos.
Well, how come you like those?
I don't know, they're just fun.
Watch the video, because sometimes they have singing, and I just sing to myself, because I sort of like to sing too.
Okay. You like music?
Yeah.
The hands-on and the videos, what makes them better than just sitting there and listening?
Makes you feel like you're actually a part of what you're learning.
Okay.
Instead of just listening to it and trying to stay awake.
I'd rather see a video on it.
Okay. And how come?
Because it's like I understand it a bit more when they talk. I may not understand the words, but
Okay.
in the video they show us pictures and
Okay.
they do explanations about it and stuff.
All right.
A little bit better than someone talking about it.
Okay.
Didn't like to read. I just would not read.
Was it hard or just...
I just didn't get it.
Okay.
It's confusing to me. And then
All right.
there's this chapter book that looked very interesting.
Kind of came to you all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Left brain kid will love phonics because it's congruent with the way that they think anyway.
Sure.
A little right brain kid will really struggle with phonics. They just kind of want to look at the word and first letter and just guess. And some of them, probably 25%, can learn phonetically real well. They somehow figure it out. But mostly what you've got is you've got a kid who's not good at reading early on.
Right.
A typical pattern is they're not developmentally ready to read because phonics is not a good decoding tool for them until about 7 or 8. And many times they shouldn't be taught to read. If you can identify the style early, the ultimate answer is to place them with other students who learn like they do. And you don't push the reading until they're ready. And they're not already at 5 or 6.
I can read it, but understanding it, that's another story.
Okay.
And I think that's probably what a lot of is the problem with school sometimes.
Have you always been a good reader?
Not always. When I was first grade, it was really hard, but after first grade, I just zip.
Handwriting is in the left hemisphere, and they're kind of weak in that area.
Okay. So you see that as a commonality with the writing being real different.
If I write really quick, like if they're saying something and I have to write really quick to catch up, then I can barely read my own writing.
But the least favorite subject is writing.
Writing.
That's why I have an Alpha Smart, because it's funner to write on a computer and stuff.
Okay.
Some stories, I'll have the whole story in my mind and it just sort of, my hands don't really want to type it all.
Okay.
Or write it all.
All right.
So it's
And
tricky.
So what you can do, you can compensate really easily. You can give them a copy of the notes. You can arrange for them to have a friend that gives them the notes, or they can arrange that. But while they're writing, they're not going to be able to process that well.
Sometimes, if the subject that I'm writing about is interesting and I like it, then I can write a lot.
The main thing to remember about visual spatial learners is that the only way they can learn anything is if they store it as a picture. So if they're reading about World War II, for example, the way they'll remember a battle is they'll see the battle. And then what they can be taught to do is emblazon the date over the image. Like, I don't know, D-Day is a good example. Okay. You have a picture of an ocean, beach, and then emblazon 6644 with the men coming off the flatboats and stuff.
I can't do it in science or math or anything, but for some very odd reason, I can remember dates, and I can remember historical dates, and I can't figure out why, and it's really, really ticking me off.
The visual learners are looking for body language. I think the word is prosody or prosody, P-R-O-S-O-D-Y, the tone of your voice.
Right.
They're looking for where you're coming from, whether you're a threat to them or not, whether you like them or not.
Okay.
And they're focusing on that rather than the words. So that's one of the reasons why oral lectures are a real problem.
So they have trouble processing oral directions.
Yeah. They can be taught to visualize it. And a lot of them in high school tape stuff, which seems like an interesting dichotomy. But it's not so much that they have to learn by seeing. It's when they intake stuff, information, they have to store it as an image. And that can come, it's easier if you see it.
Right.
But you can certainly do it with auditory information too, just make pictures. If we taught visual learners that, and to cover themselves when they're not visualizing, that would go a long way to making the situation better.
Can't always transfer the information.
Okay. So you get this
It
picture.
spurts of it and then
Okay.
it blurs out.
If the teacher gives you a bunch of directions out loud, can you remember what they all are?
No, I just do one thing and I totally forget the rest.
Okay. Yeah.
I used to have an idea, but then I forget it.
Yeah, it just kind of goes.
Yeah. I remember stuff like yesterday, but when I just do it, I just say, okay, what did I just do?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of leaves your head right away.
Yeah.
Huh.
And I goes right here. Bye bye. It's like it's going on vacation, and then the next day, okay, I'm back.
So I could tell him when he scored it, what period he scored it, who assisted on it, and then he's like, so do you have any homework, son? I don't know.
I kind of don't know how I figure it out. I just kind of do. I just kind of know it.
It just kind of came to you. And,
Yeah. Not even like because I memorized it. I just see it and just
Okay.
suddenly.
School for a visual learner who's 14 or 15 in high school, who's really brilliant but has to do all this step showing. You know, they're going up a 60-degree angle. A 504 cuts the angle to 30 degrees, but it's still a steep angle to run up.
Right.
It's never going to be even, except when one realizes that unless we do something different, where the culture changes, we're going to have a preponderance of this type of kid and this type of learning style. Pretty soon there'll be more of them than there are of us, so to speak.